What's going on, folks? My name is Justin Freed, and I'm joined today by Wake Forest defensive lineman Kobie Turner. Kobie, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Nothing much. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, dude. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time. We're like a week out from the draft now, so I'm sure you guys it's a busy time for you. First of all, how has the whole pre-draft process been for you? What's this experience been like?
Yeah, it's been cool. It's crazy to think, that a dream that I've had since I was, a little kid. In first grade, I remember, telling everybody when they ask you what you want to be, I want to be an NFL player. And so it's crazy to see, each day kind of passes, it's another day closer to reaching that dream. So it's been really good, man. Just been staying in shape, getting some good work in. I'm making sure that, with whatever opportunity that I get, that, when I get that opportunity, I'm ready to pounce on it and take full advantage. But it's been a good time, been able to talk to some teams and yeah, everything's looking pretty good for next week. So I'm excited.
Hell yeah, man. I'm excited too, for sure. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your background and your football journey. But I feel like everyone watching this has to know one thing first, and that's that you are an
Mhm.
incredibly talented and gifted musician, as
Yes,
well
sir.
as a football player. So can you talk to me a little bit about your musical background and kind of how you got started with it?
Yeah, so music's been it's been in my life, for the entirety of my life. My mom was always a part of the church worship team, so I would go with her, all the time on Saturdays for practices or Sundays before church for practices, and that was really my outlet into the music world. And then my oldest brother started getting into music, playing guitar a little bit, and I looked up to him a lot. So I started playing some guitar. I took a couple of piano lessons as a kid, but I started to pick that up. And kind of as I grew up, music became more and more of a part of my life. And getting through high school is a tough time when you're finding out a lot about yourself, and learning kind of how you interact with people when you're growing up. And really, music and football were the two ways that I was able to get through high school. In the ways that I did, it really helped me out. So music's always been a huge part of my life. I took a lot of time in high school and college to continue to explore that music side, whether that be participating in multiple choirs or leading multiple a cappella groups at the same time or composing my own music. That was one of the proudest moments was being able to compose some music and have my college choir sing it. But yeah, music has always been a huge part of my life. And on another note, in 2019, one of my teammates died by suicide. One of my teammates at Richmond, Gus Lee. And at that time, like, it was a very hard time for the team and for everybody, of course. But the moment that I remember the most was the choir that I was in was asked to sing at his memorial service. And that moment was a very solemn moment. And it was like I was able to keep his memory alive through music. So sorry, that was kind of random, but like it's just there's so much more, to all of us as football players, but definitely like my musical side is a huge part of me, a huge part of what gets me going, why I do the things that I do. And I'm just grateful to have another side of me that, can kind of go side to side, hand in hand with that football side.
Yeah, no, dude, I appreciate you sharing that with me. That's a very emotional moment, I'm sure. Music has that effect on people. It brings people together. It's a very emotional medium, essentially. Are you still doing anything like musically with your life right now? Like, do you still plan to continue doing that even if you're in the NFL?
Yeah, so music's kind of on the back burner as far as formally, because I'm hoping that I'll be able to do music for the rest of my life, and I only have a short amount of time to be able to capitalize, off of this opportunity. But I have my guitars with me at all times. Like whenever I fly out anywhere, I was down in Pensacola. The first thing I did was ship my guitar because I
Yep.
can't be down there without it. So music's 100% in my life. It's a part of my football routine, all of that. But in the formal sense of it, no, I'll probably get into more of that after football. But I definitely keep a guitar with me wherever I go. I'll get a little keyboard set up, so I make sure that I have a spot to come and decompress a little bit.
Of course, you got it. That's a priority.
Yeah.
And your love of music is one of the reasons you earned the nickname the Conductor in college,
Mhm.
right? So tell me a little bit about that nickname and how that came to be, and what it means to you.
Yeah. So, um, really, it happened, during the week in between one of our games. Some people were playing music in the locker room, after practice, and I just started conducting. And somebody was like, "Yo, that would be a tough celebration." And so that next week, I got a sack. We were playing Albany. I thought it was a safety, but teach his own. I guess they marked him down at the one. And then I started doing that. And then the next week, I actually tried to draw the Disney logo from like the old school Disney stuff, but the announcers were like, "The conductor conducting again," or something like that, and I was like, "Okay, like I'll rock with this." So it's kind of stuck with me since then, and it's really cool, to have those two sides of my life be able to connect. When I have a big play, and to be able to show off myself in that way, and my other interests, it's really cool. So love the nickname, and I think it's pretty straight on for who I am.
Yeah, I mean it's a badass nickname. And there's been a lot of I feel like there's been a lot of repeated nicknames in the NFL. I don't think anyone else has been called the Conductor, so I think you got that
Never.
one. Uh, now you weren't like a super highly recruited player coming out of high school either, and you ended up walking on at Richmond way before you got to Wake Forest. So how did that end up coming about? Why did you choose Richmond?
Yeah, so I really had the choice, talking with my parents, sitting down with the college decision. There's a couple of D3 schools who had offered me some financial packages. And really, it came down to I could choose a D3 school, go there for all 4 years, um, and, graduate and keep going, or I could choose Richmond. And I had 1 year to earn a scholarship. And otherwise, I would have been at a community college. So I really chose to bet on myself in that situation. I felt that that was where I belong. I knew that I could play there. And then kind of, when I touched down on campus, for a lot of guys, that freshman year is figuring out the social scene, figuring out where you fit in with all of those things. And that's where you get a lot of drunken nights and all of that sort of thing. But for me, I didn't have that liberty. So, I mean, I still figured out my way. Like I joined the acapella group, but I wasn't able to like pursue all of the endeavors that I wanted to. Like I wasn't able to join the choir or anything like that because it was a focus of I only have 1 year to make this happen. And so, from the second I stepped on the field and everything that I did, it was a certain focus that kind of allowed me to go and play, all out with all out effort, with all out motor. And that was kind of instilled in me at a young age, and that kind of helped me succeed and helped me earn that scholarship for sure. So
Yeah, like you mentioned, you bet on yourself and you won. Like you succeeded. You ended up getting that scholarship. You played 4 years at Richmond. You ended up earning all conference honors, all American honors. You were a defensive player of the year 1 year, and you had a very decorated career at Richmond. And you could have
mhm.
gone pro last year, essentially.
Yeah.
Instead, you decided to transfer to Wake Forest. So, what was the thought process behind that decision? Why did you choose Wake Forest? Why did you come back for another year?
Yeah. So I was, soberly evaluating kind of where my draft stock was last year. And I sat down with my family, and sat down with a couple of the agents who had reached out to me and was, talking about realistically, like, where am I at? And I knew that with another year, with higher competition, that I could increase that draft stock. And so really that this past year was simply a business decision. Everything that had to do with this past year was to put me in the position that I am in today. To give myself a better shot at the league, to put myself in that more sure category of getting a good opportunity to go out and make my dreams come true. And Wake Forest was a great spot. Coach Clausen has been there for multiple years, had a system that has been set up for multiple years. Like there was a certain level of consistency. So I knew that once I came in, it wouldn't be me trying to help build a program up from from the foundation. It would be me adding my piece of the puzzle into an already established program. And that allowed them and myself to be able to focus on improving myself and improving my craft and honing in on that at the forefront. And so it was such a great situation for me to walk into. And I'll forever be grateful to Coach Clausen and the staff for extending me that opportunity to be able to come to Wake Forest. And I think, looking back at where I would have been a year from today, I really set myself up to give myself a better opportunity. And I'm just grateful that I had that opportunity to be able to do so.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you ended up having a really good year at Wake Forest. You guys went and you won a bowl game. Like it worked out essentially. And part
Mm-hmm.
of that is why you had the opportunity to participate in the Shrine Bowl this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
how was that whole experience for you? What was the Shrine Bowl like for you?
It was awesome. Being able to compete with a lot of the top talent, being able to sit in D-line rooms and kind of see, the different ways that guys were coached and how they adapt to the coaching that Coach Gothi was giving us from the Falcons. And it was really cool to work with the Falcons staff, all around a great experience. And just being able to go out there and compete. Like that's what football is all about. And a lot of the stuff in the pre-draft process, getting ready for pro days or getting ready for a combine or whatever it may be, is all about, drills and all of these little things that can correlate to football, but they aren't football. And so to be able to have that last opportunity to go out and show, I'm a football player and this is how I do it, and to be able to put up my talents against some of the best in the country, it definitely, was a great experience for me.
Now you mentioned, the pre-draft process, meeting with teams, right? Of course, I feel like I have to ask, I'm sure you've met with a number of teams, but I feel like I have to ask, have you met with the Jets at all? And if so, how was that meeting?
So I might have met with them at the Shrine Bowl. I don't remember all of the teams that we met with them, just because it was very kind of fast paced and multiple teams in a room at a time. But since then, I haven't met with them. But yeah, I definitely would think that I talked to them at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, those like I feel like those are like it's like speed dating essentially. It's all like
Mhm.
you're getting similar questions from everybody. It kind of just it blends together almost.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so if not the Jets, are there any teams maybe showing a little more interest in others, or just overall, what teams have you met with maybe in an official capacity?
Yeah, so I've met with the Rams, had a Zoom with them, had a 30 with them. I've met up with the Commanders. I was supposed to meet with Baltimore, and I'm currently setting up or trying to figure out a meeting with Carolina. And then I've called some or other coaches have called me as well, like Cleveland, and I think for the most part. Yeah. And then also there's been teams that have been talking to, other parts of my team. Of course, my agent, doing his job, should be talking to teams and has been. But also my coaches have let me know that, certain coaches have stopped by in the building, or certain coaches have called up about me. So yeah.
Very cool. Wow. If it's not the Jets, I'm hoping it's not another team in the AFC East. I'd rather not be facing you 2 times a year. But all right, we'll finish this off with a few kind of like quick hitter, get to know you fun questions. Is that good?
For sure.
Awesome. All right. So first, I mean, I'm gonna say the music stuff has to be disqualified for this question, right? What
Hmm.
are some of your favorite hobbies outside of football and outside of music?
Rocket League. I am pretty far. I wouldn't say far. I'm pretty solid at Rocket League. I peaked at Grand Champ 1. So we're gonna beat that peak in a little bit, but that definitely takes up a good amount of my time. And between that and just hanging with family and friends and my girlfriend and all of that, it's kind of what I do.
There you go. I mean, first of all, hanging with friends and family, that's always a good hobby. That's a good pastime. And yeah, Rocket League,
Mhm.
that's awesome, man. It's a fun game. I'm really bad at it, but it's a really fun game. I guess sort of in a similar vein, do you have any potentially hidden talents that people might not know you're good at? So obviously, you can't say music because you got literally a whole nickname out of that. I guess Rocket League would qualify, but is there anything else?
Rocket League would qualify. Um, mm-mm. I don't think I am pretty good at spades, but that's not really a hidden talent. But me and my best friend, we kind of run the family right now, spades and bidwiz.
Wow,
We play against our
I would not have guessed spades. That's for sure.
no, we play against our families, and last time we ended out the night with the Boston. We ran a Boston on them, so we're pretty solid, if I do say so myself.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Rocket League, music, football, spades. I love it. My favorite question, and I'm honestly genuine. I'm really excited to hear your answer for this specifically. What is your go-to karaoke song?
I'll give you a couple. River by Leon
Okay.
Bridges is pretty solid. Change is Gonna Come is pretty solid. You can never go wrong with some Michael Jackson, but he's a little hard to do. But yeah,
That's good. I love it. I mean, people have answered Michael Jackson before too, and my immediate thought is like, I don't know how you're going to hit some of those notes, but good luck, right? Good for you. Go for
right,
it.
right.
But yeah, I was really excited to ask you that question too, because I asked that to everyone, but I'm like, I feel like you're going to give a really good answer for it, and you did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
that's all I got, dude. Kobie, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. You know, I want to wish you the best of luck with everything with the draft next week. I know your birthday is also coming up. I think a day before the draft. Is that right?
Yeah, it's insane. It's going to be a big week for me.
Wow, hell yeah, man. Well, happy early birthday as well. You know, maybe next week. I know you haven't met with them much, but maybe next week we're talking about you as the newest member of the New York Jets. You know, maybe. Either way, though, dude, I appreciate you taking the time. I want to wish you the best of luck next week.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And Jets fans, thank you so
For
much.
sure. Thank you for having me.
I got you, man. I got you. And Jets fans, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We stream live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Jet Press YouTube channel. Until then, I've been Justin Freed. That's been Kobie Turner. See you guys next time.